Welcome back guys to a new awesome Cyberpunk build. The best SMG build with 1000 RPM unleashes the pure hellfire to all your enemies, piercing bones, muscles and even the hardest cyberware you can imagine. Like in my previous builds where I already showed you new multipliers you can use, like using silencer, stealth multiplier, headshot multiplier. This time we will focus on the fire rate, and there's a gun in this game that has a 3 times higher fire rate than any other gun in this game. That means it will shoot 3 times the amount of bullets on your targets in the same time frame than any other weapon, which also means that it will give you a much higher crit chance because we are again using multiple bullets in the same time frame as other weapons only use a single bullet. So crit chance is not an issue, we will get a lot of critical hits just because we shoot so many bullets. And if you now wonder about how often do we actually have to reload, don't worry, because this gun has an 85 rounds magazine. Of course I'm speaking about the problem solver iconic weapon, which is one of the best weapons and probably one of the most underrated weapons in this game. When you discover this weapon the first time, it has a recoil and spread which is totally out of this world. It is completely uncontrollable. But with the mods and perks we will use in this build, it will actually shoot like an absolute straight laser beam. Of course it was never meant that this weapon could be anywhere near as accurate as we are going to make it here in this build. And that is why this build is again one of the most game breaking I have ever made. And I can't wait to show it to you. Of course this will be a Reflex build, so you should go for Reflex 20 because there are a lot of sub-skill perks which reduce your recoil and spread dramatically when you get closer and closer to level 20. And the second core feature of this build is that we are going to use a Berserk Cyberware, more specifically the Biodyne Berserk Mark IV. And in this cyberware we will place 2 of the new focused Berserk Cyberware mods in legendary quality that will give you another 30% reduction in recoil and spread. So together with the base reduction of this cyberware mod you will get a total of 85% reduction in recoil and spread, together with everything you already got from the Reflex tree, which will make this weapon shooting more accurate than the best sniper rifle in this game. And on top of that, the Biodyne Berserk Mark IV will also give you a 20% damage increase for all your ranged weapons. So whenever you make a new Reflex build with ranged weapons, definitely consider to get this cyberware. So how do you actually play with this build? It is quite simple. You simply activate your Berserk Cyberware, aim and mow down every enemy which is in your sight. I also use the handyman scope which displays the ammo count directly on my scope so that I never run out of bullets and I always see when I have to reload. But you will barely have to reload anyway. You could also hold up your aim and kill just everyone which is running in your sight. That is the Terminator playstyle which I also really like. You also don't have to worry about your health because whenever you make a kill, the Berserk Cyberware will give you an additional 4% health which stacks with your 10% you get from heal on kill. When we check out our gear, we will have of course the problem solver iconic weapon in the first weapon slot, and then the handyman scope, which is one of the new scopes. You can get that at Wilson. Then for the muzzles, I definitely recommend you to go for the RC7 A-Swang because that will increase all your weapons damage by an additional 17% if you have the epic one, and there's also a legendary one which gives you 25% additional damage. That is like 3 or 4 times crunch mods, but just on your muzzle alone. The legendary version of the A-Swang can only be found behind very high level locked tech or body doors in certain gigs and locations, but the epic one can be found at Wilson when you reload him very often. You have to have maximum street cred, and I needed to reload him like 30 or 40 times until I finally got the epic A-Swang. In our first mod slot we will place the counter mass because when our Berserk is running out it only lasts 30 seconds, which is quite sufficient for almost every location, but just in case if it runs out we will only have to deal with a moderate vertical recoil. In the other mod slots, even though it is tempting to use more fire rate mods, we will place the legendary crunch mods as usual. For the other weapons, of course, you can still use the Dying Knight and equip it with a Kanotsugu optics and with an RC7 Liger. That muzzle basically does the same as the A-Swang for the rifles. It increases your overall damage by 16%. And if you find the legendary RC7 Liger, you will get an additional 25% for all your pistols. But the legendary one cannot be found at Wilson. It will also be behind very high level locked doors in locations. Of course, you can also use the legendary Moron Lab and equip it with a clear view and also with a silencer, so you will have one build that can be used for everything. On most of our clothing items we will use armor mods. Here on the headgear I used an armor mod, but then on the trench coat and on the rocker bra I actually used mitigation strength mods. These give you 6% mitigation strength each if you have the legendary version of it, and you can increase your mitigation strength by up to 24% if you use 4 of these mods. Here in the rocker bra I used another 2 of them, and I'm just testing this out if it actually has an effect. Of course, if you don't like to have mitigation strength, then simply use armor mods there. However, in my eyes optics I use the Fortuna mod because the headshot component from that eye is still not working, so definitely go for Fortuna in your optics. In the pants and in the shoes I will go for 3 additional armor mods because I have sacrificed 4 already for the mitigation. In our Cyberware here, since we have a level 50 build, we will only get the best of the best. We'll start with the legendary heal on kill, which gives you 10% additional health refill whenever you kill an enemy, and that will stack wonderful with your Berserk Cyberware, so in total you will have a 14% health refill whenever you kill an enemy. The Mechatronic Core will give you 50% more damage whenever you kill robots or non-human enemies, and the third slot will be empty because there is nothing else we could place here because we don't invest any points into intelligence. But that doesn't matter because in return we get all the other good cyberware instead of it. In the Epic Hiroshi mod we will place 3 trajectory analyzers. Of course you could also go for 2% more mitigation strength or 2% more crit chance. If you stack 3 of them you will get 6% more mitigation chance or 6% more crit chance. But compared to getting 75% more headshot damage, it is absolutely a no-brainer to go for the headshot damage. So I would never go for anything else here except for 3 trajectory analyzers. The trajectory analyzers was fixed a very long time ago and they definitely stack now, so definitely use them. With a high enough body level you're able to unlock one of the best cyberwares here in the game. The legendary bioconductor will reduce every cooldown of every cyberware in your game by 30%, so that reduces the cooldown from the Berserk Cyberware from 60 seconds to be only 40 seconds. Then the second heart of course revives you on death. This is by far the best cyberware in the game because if you die you will just stand up and you can continue playing. It is really so simple, and with the legendary bioconductor you will also reduce the cooldown of second heart from 2 minutes to be only 1 minute 20 seconds, so that's insanely fast. Also get the legendary blood vessels for the faster health regeneration, then the Caterist and the detoxifier to make you immune versus any poison damage. For the nervous system I'm sticking with the legendary Reflex tuner because that slows down time when I'm low health, so that I'm always able to use a couple of max stocks before I actually die. But even if I die, then there is second heart and it will revive me anyway. Since I didn't like to slow down time when I'm entering combat because I don't want this to happen with the new submachine gun, I'm using the legendary Neofibers here. The fixer reward which you get from Regina that will increase my mitigation chance by 5% and the mitigation strength by another 10%. Then of course go for the legendary armor mod, the optical camo and the fireproof coating, and then we will come to the most important part, which is our cyberware, the Biodyne Berserk Mark IV. And here we will place 2 of the focused Berserk, and then we will place another devastating Berserk. The devastating Berserk will give you 15% more crit chance when you activate the Biodyne Berserk Mark IV. The new focused Berserk mods are scalable and you can craft them yourself if you have the crafting spec for them. So if you have crafting 18, you will get legendary focused Berserk. But the devastating Berserk mod is an older mod, and these older mods are not stackable and they only come in rare quality. So you can only use one of the devastating Berserk mods that will give you another 15% crit chance, but you could use multiple of the new ones. Only the old ones are not stacking. Of course we will use the titanium bones for the increased carry capacity, and since we are body 20 we can also get the 60% health skeleton, which just gives you another 10% health, so why the hell not go for high body. The high body level gives you second heart, the best cyberware in the game, you will get the legendary bioconductor, you will get the legendary skeleton with more health and a lot of other perks which increase your health and reduce your damage in the athletics tree as well. Then of course we use the ballistic coprocessor for the ricochet damage. Then I would definitely recommend you the Gorilla Arms, because the Gorilla Arms, especially on lower level, allows you to have a much lesser body level than required to open certain doors. The rare ones will give you +2 for your body level, the epic ones will give you +4, and the legendary ones will give you +6 when you attempt to open a high level body door. So these Gorilla Arms definitely have a huge benefit to get to that legendary secret loot you want to have for your weapon muzzles. And you could also use a sniper rifle with body 4, while it actually requires you to have body 10 to use it. And of course in your leg sport you should use the tendons for the double jump as usual. So let's finally check out the skill points, and I'm actually back to the triple holy grail 20 body, 20 reflex, 20 tech. Every time I attempt to go for something in cool or increase more in cool, I'm going back to body 20, reflex 20, tech 20, because they are just so much better than that. For example, the high level body perks here, Invincible, will give you an additional 15% health. That is unlocked at a very high body level. The Steel Shell, 10% more armor, Indestructible, another 10% damage reduction from every incoming damage. And even the Tenacious V will not stop your health regeneration when you get hit. So if you want to be more protected against more damage, then don't stop at body 16, which unlocks a second heart. Just go all in for body 20, because that unlocks all the additional health, armor and pain reduction perks. In the reflex tree we will mainly go for Assault, and the most important perk is the Savage Stoic, which gives you 35% additional damage while standing still. That is the most important perk, it is unlocked at reflex 20. Then go for the usual damage increase, the ADS time reduction, ADS damage. Then the Executioner perk for enemies which have more than 50% health, and also the Recoil Wrangler, which additionally reduces our recoil and spread when we use our weapon. Of course, then it is very important to also get all the recoil and spread reduction perks when you actually approach to be Assault 20. And on top of that you can also go for the final perk, but the Berserk Cyberware will take care of most of our recoil and spread anyway already, so you don't really have to go for the final perk, that is just nice to have. In the tech skill tree you should definitely go for the Field Technician, which gives you 10% more damage for every crafted weapon, then the Edge Runner Artisan to actually be able to craft legendary weapons, and then why not also get the Cutting Edge, the additional 5% for all your weapon. I understand why most people actually stop at tech 18, but why not getting these additional 5%, which is an additional multiplier to everything you already got. So these 2 points are totally worth it, and I would always recommend you to go for Cutting Edge as well, especially since we are stripped out of so much damage since patch 1.5. We have only 8 in cool, but that is enough to give us the 2 most important perks, the Assassin, which gives us 15% more damage to human enemies, and Easy Out, which gives us 20% more damage with all our ranged weapons. So in this build we used a completely different weapon, completely different cyberware with the Berserk Cyberware, and still the triple 20 is the holy grail in this build, and I can only recommend you to use these triple 20 if you want to play with guns. Then you will have everything you will ever need for any gun build. I hope you really like this build, please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a like, and see you next time.